Who's that you got behind you? That's what I thought. Hi, Tim. How you doing? Good.
Should I sit? Does it matter which side?
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Test, test.
Oh, okay. That way.
What did that look for?
I don't know.
You're like a school teacher.
Huh?
You look like a school teacher looking over your glasses.
I didn't see any non-public in this, too.
Actually, I didn't even look, Jan.
It's 3 years worth, but this
Oh.
year is only up until, the other day.
Yeah, okay. Warm. Should have grabbed you a water, sorry. I spilled coffee on my gloss. Gotta be warm in the house.
I don't mind it warm, I'd rather it warm than super cold.
Oh, you encroach, I'll go
Like
home.
ice cold stuff.
You can have my whole area, I'll go right home.
Did they pour your floor?
Yeah.
Not yet.
When's the building coming?
Well, it was supposed to be June 1st, but now it's just waiting for concrete, you know?
Yeah. Could be that. Not as bad as it can be. I don't think it's.
I asked her, I said, are you always this loud?
Who, me?
Her. Yelling in the mic and beating on the mic.
Yeah, that's me.
I was gonna say, I didn't even say nothing.
Really?
Yeah. People at home are gonna be pissed.
That's fine, tomorrow, whenever.
For me not to pass down.
Oh, okay, so I got that
Yes,
too.
am I supposed to pass this stuff down?
That's all yours. My guess is that there's some.
In the future, you do not have to give me a printout if you send it via email.
I did send it.
No, I know, but I also have an
Don't print
email.
it out.
Don't,
If we send it.
Oh,
by
yeah,
email.
because that, like, I won't use that.
okay.
Thank you.
Well, if you're not gonna use it, you can give your copy to
Yeah,
the those guys.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
gave one.
No,
to
because
them, but-
if I have it in my email, I'd rather, it's easier for me to see it in Excel anyway.
It's the same thing, Felicia. I don't know if you have it or if Barry has it. I figured you could have one.
Yeah. Needed that, just 2 copies.
I think we can go ahead and get started. Just going to call the meeting to order, and we are starting with a work session. The ambulance department EMTs have come to us with a proposal to change and elevate, I guess, the level of service to ambulance paramedic, correct? So if nobody minds from the board, I think I'd love to give Felicia and Barry, if he wants to, an opportunity to kind of give us their pitch here on what we're looking at. Is that okay? Perfect.
Felicia, if you could just face the mic towards you when you're
Sure.
talking,
Yeah.
so everybody can hear, that'd be great, thank you.
All right, I think everyone knows me, but I'm Felicia Howard, captain for the ambulance. So we put a lot of work into this. It's been about a year. I'll just kind of give a little bit of background on how it started. We went to our medical director, which is Dr. Jim Swosey. He oversees our ambulance service as a whole. He is the reason why we're able to operate the way we do. We operate under his license, essentially. That's how the EMS system works in New Hampshire. And we discussed the possibility of going paramedic. And he gave us suggestions, gave us what we should do, gave us stipulations of what he would like to see done. And then we had a meeting again, and he seemed very, a little bit hesitant on it, just because this is very new for this area. Not uncommon for the rest of the state. There's a lot of services, small services, that even have only 1 or 2 paramedics that run no problem. Very different for this type of area, because typically he keeps his paramedics to a full-time service like Deluzio or Keene Fire. So we discussed it, and my biggest driving force behind this is the care that can be provided immediately to the town of Winchester. I'm going to tear up, and I'm sorry, but I personally, as a paramedic, I've been a paramedic for 4 years now. After 2 years, you're considered to be an experienced paramedic. I never really pursued more here because I wasn't ready. I've worked full-time for Deluzio. I left. I worked full-time for New London Hospital. I've gotten a lot more experience, a lot more education. And I personally, as a paramedic, can't stand and watch someone have a seizure in front of me for 8 minutes, knowing if I had just the medication on my ambulance, I could stop it. I can make a better outcome for these people. And that's my driving factor behind it. I want more for what our town deserves and what our people deserve. They're paying for part of our service out of taxes. They deserve to have the best care they can get. And we have the ability to provide it. At least initially, we have 2 of us. We just hired a 3rd. So that's 3 paramedics. Even part-time, we can do a lot more for the people of Winchester. The side part of it is the money savings. Right now, it costs us $300 per paramedic intercept. So if a paramedic comes down, provides care, or just feels that they need to monitor the patient, so not even necessarily do anything, but just sit on the truck, we pay $300 for that. If they have Medicare or Medicaid, that $300 doesn't even cover the cost of that bill now. So now we've lost money completely on the call. So that's kind of another driving factor about it too, is that maybe cutting, even if we can cut the number of intercepts in 2/3 or half, we would save, a lot of money. And increasingly, we've had more difficulties getting a paramedic. The system's strapped as a whole. Paramedics are, there's less than 500 that recerted in New Hampshire. It's becoming a less and less common thing for people to do, and COVID certainly didn't help that. So I just pulled the numbers for just this past fiscal year, so starting in July of '21 to today, we had 3 intercepts from Northfield and 2 from Rescue Inc., which all of last year, Deluzio was able to cover all of their intercepts. So we're having to strap the system more, pull people from places that they're not usually coming to, and it will help alleviate some of that too, because if we don't have to steal a medic from somewhere, maybe they could be providing care to someone that needs it somewhere else. So overall, it would help the system too, and, you know, help our town and maybe help fix some of the financial things. I don't think it'll be immediate, but it will at least be a start in moving in the right direction. So that's kind of the whole driving force behind that.
Thank you, Felicia. I have a quick question about, just so that I'm understanding, you said there are less and less people training to be paramedics, but there are other types of training that staff the ambulance, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and what are some of those other?
So the EMT, well, the EMR is the lowest. The EMR really doesn't do patient care. They're pretty much used as drivers in the state of New Hampshire. They are able to do basic, like CPR, they're able to do basic first aid, really nothing much beyond that. It's like a 24-hour course, it's super quick, and you're one and done. EMT, we have quite a few. Most of our staff is actually just an EMT, and I say just an EMT, but they can do a lot in terms of stabilization, so oxygen delivery, you know, any kind of giving oral glucose if someone has a hypoglycemic emergency, splinting, kind of all those other basic things that, it's the basis of knowledge of all of EMS. The AMT is a little bit more than that, and that's the level we're at right now. We can give medications in cardiac arrest. We can give medications through IVs. We can start IVs. They give neb treatments for breathing difficulties, and that's kind of where the basis of that rolls around. It's kind of like a paramedic light, if you will. But the paramedic is where the true life-saving interventions that need to be done will be done by a paramedic because of the amount of education that we have. Any cardiac problem, heart attack, tachycardias, bradycardias, so if someone's like got a really low heart rate, we can put pads on them and pace them, so give electrical shots to help jumpstart their heart and at least get them to the hospital. There's a lot of medications that we can give. I mean, the biggest ones, you know, benzodiazepines to stop seizures. Like, seizures are huge, and it's just the only thing that can be treated. The only person that can treat a seizure is a paramedic. You know, and there's airway emergencies too. Paramedics can intubate, which is putting a tube into someone's trachea. So there's a specialized training, specialized equipment, all those other things that roll into it. And we do sign off with Cheshire every year in order to do a surgical crike, which is like the last ditch effort to save someone's life, and it's cutting into their trachea to put a tube in. And we have to be signed off yearly for that because it's such a low frequency, high risk skill. We worked with Dr. Swosey. He put in place requirements for us as a service if we were to go paramedic level. We ourselves took it upon ourselves to make our own requirements to uphold our paramedics and to keep them at a good level of training and to maintain their skills. Cheshire initially was concerned that we would have degradation of skill set if down here in Winchester because we're not full-time, but I don't see it. I'll say just this past month, we've seen DART. We've seen, you know, we've taken someone straight to Bay State in Springfield with trauma. We have done a lot more critical care stuff in just the last month. There's a lot of sick people and a lot of people that get injured here, and I'm not worried about the skill degradation part of it.
Madam Chair, I got a question.
Oh, yeah.
How many members do you have now?
We are sitting at 16.
And out of those 16, how many are paramedics?
3.
3. So if you're going to go with paramedics,
how is 3 people
It's not.
gonna cover?
Right. So this is the thing, is that we can't hire a paramedic right now because we're not a paramedic level service. No one's gonna, there are people that will come on to do EMS just because they love EMS, but they're not gonna sign up to work as an AEMT, as a paramedic, if they've been a paramedic for 20 years. It's just not gonna happen. They're gonna come here and be like, well, this is silly. Like, I have skill set that I'm not gonna be able to use here. So I anticipate that if this does happen, we'll be able to put out that we can hire people, and I think there will be people that comes, because there are some perks. We don't do transfers, like that's the biggest thing. We don't take people to Dartmouth, from Cheshire. We don't do these transfers, and I've worked for a private service, and I work for a hospital-based service. Like, they're mind-numbing. They're definitely necessary, but it can take a lot on your brain to be in the back of a truck for hours upon hours watching a monitor click by your mind for a while. So that's going to be a big perk. All 911, like especially younger people in the game, love to take care of people and have the ability to think and critically treat people and do what's right for their patient on their own terms, per protocol.
Training, now, how much training does this take?
So it depends. Most programs are 2 years. My program is 18 months. It was an accelerated type deal, but it requires over 700 hours of clinical time, which is a lot.
But we're not necessarily talking about training current staff. We're
No.
talking about hiring people with.
That already have the
And obviously,
certification.
current staff
Yeah.
are encouraged. There's the opportunity, and if it becomes paramedic, they have room for growth above what they might be doing now.
Yes, yeah.
You could be taking somebody who is an EMT or an AMT who's thought about doing the paramedic work.
And said,
but
hey, now my service that I work for is
Does
paramedic
it.
level. Maybe I'll go try for that.
Why wouldn't somebody that's a paramedic go to like Cheshire or Deluzio where they get more money? I mean, I guess I just,
No, it definitely is true. It's definitely a valid concern. But with the turmoil with the county and everything else right now, some people just want to do maybe 1 day a week and do something else full time.
but you know the county, when they get started, they're gonna pay big money because it's
So
the
just
county's
to give an
paying.
update on the county thing, Emily, were you on the board when the county came down?
No, but I follow it.
So you're aware that
Yes.
there's no more
Yes.
Deluzio County?
Yep.
So basically,
Yep,
it's
yep.
gonna be two separate.
Yep,
private
Division,
entities.
right.
yep, it's also held up in court right now, yep.
Which one is Winchester going to be using?
We haven't discussed that. I guess it depends on what the county's gonna have to come in. As you guys heard, the county said that if we went with a contractor, that our contract was gonna increase by 60%. If Deluzio's gonna stay where they are, that's kind of a no-brainer on who contract with, would be Deluzio and not the county, and pay more money. There's always, room for discussion there.
So there's room for discussion here because we probably would need, I would need that answer before because I have a bunch of questions for her.
Well,
And that's
again,
why I
until-
asked her to be
Until
here
we
tonight.
have the decision or the court, I didn't realize this is the court now, but until that decision is made, right now, we're with Deluzio, and that's who we're contracting with. As far as we're concerned, that's the only private ambulance service there. Because the county hasn't started that, and until things get situated in court and they're up and running,
Just so you know, it's looking like it's not gonna happen.
and they've already had contracts making ambulances and.
Right.
Um, You guys, with your certifications, you actually, all the 16 people that you have here have to pass National Registry certification every 2 years. The paramedics have to do the same. You're not talking to somebody that hasn't been doing this for a long time.
Yep.
Okay, your paramedics right now, are you asking, besides having to talk to Amy, are you asking for us have these 3 people hired as part-time or full-time employees, or what are you asking
They're already-
specifically for us now?
No, all I'm asking for is the ability to move forward to make us a paramedic service, which would include signing this contract with Cheshire that said, we agree to all of the stipulations here. The SOGs we wrote, that Nancy worked so hard writing out, were derived from Peterborough Fire, from their full-time service, and they are a paramedic level service. And they, very similar to Winchester, started very small, were volunteer, then went part-time, per diem, full-time. They have full-time employees now, and they do transfers and everything like that. They're a full service. And so all we're asking for is to allow us to work at our level that we're licensed at.
Well, you're doing that now, aren't you?
We're not.
No.
So I'm not able, if I walked into a room today.
Oh,
and
because
said-
you're a
and-
paramedic, right?
Yeah, and saw someone in a shockable rhythm, so I
Yeah.
could push a button and get them out of that rhythm and save their life. If I were to do that, I would lose my license because we are not a paramedic level service.
Is Swosey in support of this then?
He is, and he said
For
to
you
us.
to work at your level?
Yes,
The 3 of you to work at your level?
yes. He said to us, if there was ever a time to do this, now is the time to do it. With everything changing around us and with all the waves between Deluzio and county and everything else like that, having a guaranteed something for our town in place would be the best time to do it, would be now.
So, are you done, Teresa?
Well, no, but you can
Okay.
go.
So I did read through this proposal that you gave. I read through the whole thing. I did highlight a couple things, but you, as I was reading through and I was making notes, you actually answered my questions for me, which was awesome.
Good, I tried.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you so much. I think my only question, which is, the question to most people is, yes, well, this isn't a question. I'm going to give you an affirmation right now. This is a huge thing that would benefit our town. Having seen, our elderly population aging out and a lot of, cardiac situations happening recently, and a lot of things with we just had DART come out and stuff like that. It would be of a great service to our town to be able to provide a service that is life-saving for our residents, 100%. With that being said, my only challenge is, which everybody's going to ask, and this isn't necessarily my personal challenge, is how can this increase our revenue? So what does this service offer outside of a great community project? How can this help us monetarily?
Right.
So can I just hit on that revenue?
Yep.
So we have.
Can you talk, just face the mic towards you, Barry? Thank
We
you.
have 3 years of certified billing that, none of this has gone to collection to people that owe us. We're owed like $389,000. So if we get a handle on this, as far as the outstanding bills, there's more revenue coming in just from the service we're providing now, on top of what the medic service is gonna.
And I agree with you. I just wanted you guys to answer that because I did look over the financials that you gave.
Yeah. So my thing is like I said, if we can cut out that middleman, that $300 that we're paying per intercept, and granted, it's not a lot, but like some years it's upwards of $25,000. That's nothing to sneeze at, in my opinion. I mean, in the grand scheme of things with this mess, but it's a lot of money. And there's also, like, I have it all documented too, and I can get you those numbers too, but there are times where we've asked for paramedics and not gotten them. And we've taken patients that are super, super sick and had to beat feet just to keep them alive to the hospital. That's a horrible feeling. Like that is
Especially
just,
for you, yeah.
Where are the drugs going to be kept?
So.
Who's going to be in control?
So
That's
I would
in here,
be the
Chad.
UCDC, which is the Unit Controlled Drug Coordinator. It's required by the DEA. The narcotic safe system that I have chosen, they actually just went up in price too. It changed the number from $1,300 to $1,400. It's RFID chipped, and it's double locked. So it comes with a software program. Every person is given a RFID card that is connected to them personally. That is their personal card. So when they scan it, it goes into the computer program, and you can see every single time the safe was opened and closed, who opened and closed it, and when. That has to remain on file for 7 years.
Now, does that tell the drug that they're using at the same time?
No, so that's a second part thing. That actually comes from Cheshire and their narcotics, like their program and how they do their controlled substances, how that works. So actually, and this is gonna be a double lock system, so you'll need a card to get into the safe and a card to actually get into the narcotics, the actual pouch that the narcotics are held in.
So just the 3 people that paramedics will have those?
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Not everybody on?
No, that won't be allowed. That's absolutely not allowed.
Is there a subsequent policy for lost, stolen, misplaced cards and the protocol?
it's-
Did I miss that in there?
It's
Okay,
in there,
thank you.
It should be, yeah.
No, I did see that.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's in there.
I thought we covered it.
Probably
But
in
That was
then
also one of my
agreement.
questions.
Cheshire as its whole has its own separate thing. So the way that they do is they do a double tag system. You have to
Yes.
log all the tags. You log the tags daily so that
know,
they
they
can
mean
keep track of the chunk
license.
numbers, you keep track of the numbers. When you use the medicine on a call, you log that into your report when you write. You also write it on a sheet, which goes to the hospital. And then you sign it, and the nurse signs it, and your partner signs it.
So they give you the drug back as you
Yes.
use it?
So the whole program, we wouldn't buy any of the medications. They would be supplied from our medical resource hospital, which is Cheshire.
I know all this, but I want you
Yeah.
to say it.
No,
So
no,
that
absolutely.
everybody.
So none of the medications would be bought by us. It would all come from Cheshire, and we would follow their procedure in terms of the narcotics and the controlled substances.
And they have to be witnessed by the nurse that takes it out and document it.
Yes.
My question to you is this. If Dr. Swosey, who's the medical director, why do you need our approval if he approves it? Why don't, you're working under
think-
his license?
Right. So
So
we-
we have nothing to do with medical, so why are
I
you
want
here
you to-
asking us?
I want you to be involved, number one. You're the governing body of our town.
Mm-hmm.
Your opinion matters beyond anybody else. So plain and simple. And approval to use the funds to buy the equipment would need to come from you as well.
What equipment are you gonna have to use to buy
It's
right
this.
now?
The narcotic safes are the biggest.
The 1,400?
They're $1,400 apiece.
Like 2 of them, so.
Two of them, $2,800,
And
plus
then there
the
was-
bags are $78 a piece. There's a list in the thing.
I didn't see the list. I looked.
Well, there's $3,000, $3,417 for some stuff for the ambulances.
Yeah, that's the list. Everything's kind of gone up a little bit. It's not up a lot, but my hope
What
was,
page is that, James?
It's right-
It's in the slideshow section.
I
I
can't
have
believe I
a,
missed that.
with the 3 current paramedics that you have, how many hours of coverage do you think you could provide, weekly with those 3? And how would you decide which,
don't know.
until you were able to hire more, or?
honestly, I would cover a lot of it. I would do what it takes to make it work until we could get more coverage. This town and this service means enough to me that I would do that. And I'm already doing that now. I don't have a day off. I work, every night I'm not at my full-time job, I'm on for the town. So, I'm here in town anyway, I live in town. I'm home most nights. My pager's on all the time, my kids don't care, So I would make myself available, and especially if summer's coming, like we don't go anywhere or do anything, COVID, thanks, but, so I intended on doing picking up a lot to make it work. And Tim has said that he would be available, and we're just waiting on Rhiannon's last licensure stuff to be done. But I do have at least a couple that I know would be interested in working a day or 2 a month, just to keep their license, because they work elsewhere, or they upgraded to RN, so.
I'd like to hear from Barry. What's your thoughts on this, Barry? Concerns?
The concern was the drug issue. Alicia and Tim and I actually had a discussion. There's always a concern. It's a narcotic. We've all seen what happened at Cheshire Medical. So there's a concern there. I think with the system that they're gonna have in place, and then with Cheshire Med overseeing everything like they do, things are gonna happen if they're gonna happen. I mean, if somebody's gonna wanna steal some narcotics, they're gonna have to steal them, I guess. But to sit there and say, no, we shouldn't do this
Because
because of this, I mean, it's not fair to, the townspeople that need the medic service. If, we're running into the short staff of medics through Deluzio, or we're having to look at Rescue Inc. or Northfield for medics when we have medics in town.
Bill, go ahead.
I had a two-part question. One, Barry, you touched on real quick. I'll go with the harder one first. Given the situation that we have at Cheshire Medical now, and if they were to lose their pharmaceutical dispensing license, what would be an option for us to source that?
Yeah, so Boundtree and Henry Schein, which is two of the places that we order our supplies from, also do dispense narcotics. Your medical director sends their DEA license to them, and you are able to order medications, both medications and narcotics through those companies.
You said it was Bounty and Henry.
Boundtree.
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 Yep. And Henry Schein.
Henry Schein, yep.
Okay.
And those are the two companies that we get our supplies from. They do also supply medicine, but we're fortunate enough that we're able to get ours from the hospital as part of our agreement, so.
Is there a increase in cost to get the medicine from those two suppliers versus Cheshire?
Yeah, Cheshire's free to us as part of our contract. I'm not sure the pricing on those, but I'm sure it's probably not super, super expensive, but again, like shipping narcotics and.
Just to be clear, free as part of our contract. We don't pay a contract with Cheshire.
We do not, no. It's our medical resource, I misspoke.
That's okay.
Medical resource agreement, our agreement with Cheshire that pretty much says we will make sure all our people do the right thing and do all the right stuff. And in return, you'll give us IV supplies and medicines that we use. It's a one-for-one exchange. It's not
No,
like we're
perfect.
stealing
No,
anything.
that's great. My second question, you just made me think of a third, but I'll hold off. Because I said two. We currently have 3 paramedics, and we would like to bring in more. What would be the cost? I'm assuming they would make the same rate that our current paramedics making. Now, if we were to disperse those paramedics to outside communities, what would be the income to disperse them out?
That would be totally up to you and what you guys felt was an appropriate fee to charge for our Medic Intercept. I can tell you this area is pretty inexpensive in terms of paramedic intercepts. The area that I work is like upwards of $1,000 per intercept here, and it's all about the same. Rescue, I got bills from Rescue at Northfield this year, and they were all $300 a piece, so.
Can I ask my last question? I'm sorry. Are there any, is that okay? Okay. Is there any laws or RSAs that hinder us from using communities like Northfield, Greenfield, for us to put our resources down to bring our resources out of
Over
state?
state lines.
Yeah, over state lines.
No, so that's considered like mutual aid. And what would happen is just if we go over a state line, we operate under our New Hampshire protocols, not under their Mass protocols, because we're not licensed in Mass.
But the interchange of money is still the same?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect, thank you.
Could I actually ask a couple of questions, please?
Okay, you have to speak into the mic, Amy.
I know, right? Piggybacking off from Natalie, with the paramedics being paid, I know currently you guys have a 2-tier starting. With the paramedics, because I know, would they be getting more? Would you be asking for a little bit more for them?
I think initially, I mean, we had discussed it, and I don't want to pay increase. I mean, and neither does Tim. We just want to be able to work at our level without fear of reprimanding.
Repercussions?
There you go.
Repercussions.
There's the word.
It's coming.
But going forward
So
with
if
new
we're not
hires,
getting, if
though-
we're not getting, a bite on hiring people, maybe offering $1 or $2 more an hour to get them on. But initially, I'd like to try not doing that, and just see what we can get without that.
Because it sounds like in your experience, there's some interest to this level versus some of the other opportunities that are out there for the paramedic level. It's a quality of life thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And my other question is, and you probably know, but I'm not sure if you do, but if not, I'd like to check with CAG, who is our billing company. If you look at the 3 years that they provided and the billing, if you notice the non-allowed, that is the amount that's non-allowed to be collected.
Right.
If we were to switch over to a paramedic, do you know if they will then release more funds from Medicare and Medicaid to the bills?
I don't think so. I think it's the same for everyone. It's a certain percentage of it's like a certain amount per call, like no matter what level it is. You could send them a bill for $15,000 and they will only pay $200 of it
Yeah.
all the time.
That, I could definitely back Felicia up
Yeah.
on that, because I did look into it when I saw your email. And it's definitely, what you
Yeah,
just
and
said, the only way,
yeah.
the only way that would change is if our state permitted
Yeah.
it to happen.
The reimbursement rates are so low for Medicare and Medicaid,
Yeah.
and it's just, it is what
I
it
just
is.
wasn't sure if we were classified as a.
But on the
paramedic.
flip side, we could bill people with straight insurance at an ALS level 1, ALS level 2 even, without having to pay, because you can't get to an ALS level 2 call with the service we have now. If we have a paramedic on board and they give the 3 push dose meds, you can bill at an ALS level 2 call, and not have to pay the medic intercept.
Yes. There's a tiny little loophole.
So there's a higher billing opportunity and an opportunity to cut out that $300. I was scrolling through looking for the list. What I saw was a total for both ambulances noted to be that 3417. And you said, though, it did go up a little.
Yeah, just initially, the narcotic space went up $100 a piece. Everything else was minimal, so it would be,
Maybe more like 37.
yeah.
No,
Now, do you have money for that in your account now?
The memorial
the
fund?
memorial fund it does, right? So you guys as a company would vote for that, to expend that, right? We would still be us, right? Okay. Now, I don't want to get into the technical aspects with Amy yet, but you're just asking us right now. You're not asking us to to start hiring people or give them more money as paramedics. You're asking us for permission under Dr. Sozzi's medical direction to allow the 3 paramedics right now, almost like a test, almost like a practice session, right? Because my issue, I have no issue with it trying to attempt to go to paramedic. I do have issue because of the fact that I'm on this board and I have to look at the budget. And the budget is something that Amy and I have discussed before about it. Who's going to collect the ALS? How are we going to really promote insurance companies to pay this when we can pay for more for a paramedic intercept as opposed to an ALS or a BLS? Right now, what is the budget? What is the budget for the ambulance department right now? I know that you gave it to me. What is the bottom line for the budget right now? Because you have to make some transfers, don't you?
Yes.
So Teresa, and I understand the money part of it, so like I said about the 400, or the 389,000, we really need to take a look at this and take the next step as far
We have
as
to.
Yeah.
going to collection with some of these people to get some of this money back.
Exactly.
Obviously, we're not gonna get all of it back, but
we have to get a big chunk, because over
Yes.
$250,000, and now you're gonna put paramedics into the system?
Well, not only
You
the-
think it's gonna stay at 380 if we don't have a system that's gonna collect this money? It's gonna be astronomical
Even without
amount.
the paramedic service, I mean, we're
Yeah,
still providing the
for a
service, we still have
paramedic.
to pay for the equipment and all this stuff. that this
Yeah,
money
it's
goes
gonna be more
towards.
money, so that doesn't necessarily mean that we can bill for more money, that we're gonna have that revenue coming in, because over $250,000 is still out there, 380,000,
For
so,
services, yes, for services that were
Yeah.
provided, that we're not getting.
yeah, that's my concern.
And on the flip side, we had already paid for the paramedics, so that money's
Right.
already gone. That's
So
not
what
even
I'm saying to
adding
you
this.
is, I have no issue with you working on your license, what your, education is. I mean, I absolutely have been in the same situation where I was an EMTI and I couldn't give a life-threatening, and I watched a 9-year-old boy die because I had to wait for a paramedic. So I get that, and I'm appreciative of that. But I also have to look at the financial thing, that we can work something out and get this established, because obviously you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing, and I feel very comfortable with you running the department. And Barry right beside you there. But I have to look, what's the bottom line for the budget right
So
now?
right now, with the ambulance, they're negative a little over 10,000, but
The negative what?
10,000, a little over 10,000. But I have,
Outs- Yeah, you have
I
outstanding.
have transfers that I have to go from the ambulance billing back into the operating. So they're going to look about negative $600.
Okay.
Has the conversation of credit company come up before? What prior conversation has happened about getting this balance billing taken care of?
Yeah.
Well, Deluzio, when he was down here, Barry, didn't he talk about that? He had,
Because there's a cost to the recovery, and so I'm
Yeah.
assuming
There is.
the conversation has stopped when when we talk about what it costs to get our money back, which we need to move through that,
Really?
because we want money back,
I
so.
don't remember what the percentage
CAG actually does collections, like this third year,
How
whatever
much
the
has
amount was.
CAG in the last 12 months collected total for us?
You have 3 years' worth of documents.
Yeah, I see that, but I just got it, so I couldn't calculate it all. I thought you would have
Well, I didn't
calculated.
calculate it all either.
How much have we paid Deluzio's in the last year? That's another question I
Deluzio-
have.
The only thing we pay for Deluzio now is the paramedic intercepts, because we're hitting all of our own calls, so we're not paying the extra for the calls. On top of, I'm sorry, we have the contract, which is $34,000 with Deluzio for the year. And then the initial $300 paramedic intercept,
I don't know, I've signed a lot of bills from Deluzio.
and that's paramedic intercepts.
We had 86 intercepts in fiscal year 20 to 21. I keep track of all those numbers. and-
Yeah, but the 80 intercepts altogether, but those were from Northfield
No,
included
that
that?
was all Deluzio in fiscal year 20 to 21.
Okay.
This one that we're still in
Yeah,
included some Northfield and Rescue, but we still had 69 Deluzio intercepts
okay,
to year to date, right to today.
right.
So that,
Of
now, does
21,000.
Peterborough, do they use this capital ambulance group to do their billing, or do they do their own?
yeah, Nancy knows.
Nancy, I'm sorry.
Use the mic,
Please, yes.
because we're live
It's
streaming
more
it.
for our lives, it's more for our audience at home.
So CAG ambulance billing is based out of Connecticut. They have Troy, Winchester, and Fitzwilliam as their billing companies right now. The town of Peterborough uses a separate company actually out of the town of Peterborough, and they have a little higher recovery rate than we do here.
Well, that's what I was-
In the town of Fitzwilliam, I'm having been a Board of Selectmen for 9 years there, they did ask CAG to start sending letters out to people who hadn't paid the bill. And that really sparked the insurance companies and attorneys that, as things were in lawsuits and things like that, to start paying bills. So after 3 attempts to get the bill to pay, they would send letters out, and that's something that CAG is willing to do if they're not already doing it. So those are the 3 local services in New Hampshire that CAG does in this area.
Well, I don't know how much we pay those.
We asked them to do that. We haven't asked them to do that, and this has been a discussion for a long time.
So that's not part of their service?
As of right now, Amy?
No, we signed the contract. They do, they send them out to collections. They send them 3 letters. After the third letter, no response, they go to the collections.
Okay, when it goes to collection, we only get, CAG only gets a percentage of what they collect. What is that percentage? 3%. It's still 3%? So if $10,000 they collect from a bill, they automatically get 3%, and then the rest comes back to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, currently in their ambulance billing, I do have 2 months worth of transfers to do because the Medicare and Medicaid, it takes 6 months to
Yep.
change over from the ACH from one bank to the other, so I'm still collecting funds in our old bank. I have to go into that bank and make the transfers, so I have to do that. But currently, in the ambulance billing, they have $129,422 in there.
129 what?
129,422. I do have to take the 9,697 out, plus the next 2 weeks' worth of payroll
Right.
to reimburse, but.
But still, that's
Basically, an
good. That's
average
okay.
is 120 to 150 for the ambulance billing.
That's
And
okay.
that does include this, paying CAG, their percentage out of it, and also paying Deluzio.
That includes that?
That comes out of those funds as well.
And even paying a collections agency 3%, what did we say? It was about 300,000 or so outstanding?
380.
So that's like, it's like 11 grand, $9,000 to $11,000 out of
in the-
300.
And in the
can't- we
past,
can't
it's
collect
been
it for that.
a lot of issues
Yeah.
with reports not being billable, but we rectified that years ago, and I have not heard boo from CAG about any of reports not being billable. So between Nancy and I doing QA, QI, making sure everyone hits their marks on their reports, I haven't heard one thing from CAG about not being able to send any of our calls to bill. So,
Correct, both of you have been doing outstanding jobs. Because I used to get the phone calls all the time that they hadn't been receiving the run sheets and stuff. Haven't gotten one for a while, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you comfortable with CAG, or are you looking into a different organization?
I honestly don't have enough experience with them. I don't talk to them, they don't talk to me. I think Amy talks to them more than I do. I reached out to them earlier this year to ask what our billing rates were.
Yeah.
And that's all I've had with interaction with them. So, I mean, I
We've
guess
looked a
no
couple
good.
years ago.
Yeah.
We looked into this a couple of years ago. Well, a few years ago.
Changing companies?
Yes, because I think we checked with who, what was it, Jaffrey or Ringer or somebody? Yeah, who they used and so forth, and it was just easier to stay with CAG we've already had, and there wasn't much of a difference.
No, yeah. They probably all operate fairly similarly.
And Medicare, Medicaid, you can't
Yeah.
change it. And unfortunately, like, we have an elderly population.
That's the majority of the
Yeah,
call.
so.
Before,
That is the main part where we're not collecting the funds, is, Medicare and Medicaid.
we got to do something different to try to collect more money.
We could raise our rates. We haven't raised our rates in a while either. So, not that, but that would help on the people that aren't Medicaid, Medicare.
Right, but it just
Right.
furthers the discrepancy on the
Yeah.
Medicare, Medicaid, because they
May-
are not raising their
But
reimbursement
we
rates.
haven't raised them since.
Oh, years, a few years.
Correct, but then if you're raising it just to see if Medicare and Medicaid, then the person that doesn't have insurance is paying,
Right.
pays more. And
Yep, thank you, Amy, that's a very good point.
Make me feel a little bit more comfortable if I approve your request by, I don't feel comfortable at all if Cheshire Medical has a suspended or loses their license to distribute, and we buy directly from a company.
Right.
And
I-
having it go to the fire department to hold the medications there, I don't feel comfortable about that, knowing the security
I-
over there. Tell me
I
what
don't
you're gonna
either.
do that's different.
I don't think, if that happens because of Cheshire, where Cheshire is and where there's really not much else around there.
Somebody's gonna have to step in.
Medicare and Medicaid will say, you can't do that.
Yep.
You cannot do that. You figure out a different way. If they have to bring in CVS people to run their pharmacy, they
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
But Medicare and Medicaid will come in and say, absolutely not. you cannot close this hospital down because it will ruin this area. It
There's
will
not
ruin
enough care elsewhere for
No.
the residents to go. The Brattleboro and Peterborough cannot take that volume. Yep. That's a very good point,
I
Felicia.
don't think, I really do believe that Medicare and Medicaid would step in and say,
There's probably-
absolutely not, that can't happen because it's going to have detrimental effects across this entire region.
It'll
Right,
become
we
the
could also
hospitals.
make a policy that says that, you know, if our medication has to be distributed from somebody else, that we can make sure that it's processed in the correct way.
Now, this,
I want
Because
to
if-
say security-wise, it's secured in the proper way.
But-
And that people have to verify and witness any medications taken out. Because if you were to do it right now at ambulance department or the fire department, I'd be like, there's no way.
She has safes in there, she has everything, it's in the proposal of what she is gonna plan on doing.
Felicia,
Yeah,
And
this
just
safe is going
this,
to be a
uh,
lot of money because it's.
it
a
says in
site
here
that's
for
not
1 year. Is that
walk-awayable.
No, it's.
the probation period that you guys want to
I would
try?
initially like to try it for 1 year and then
I
reevaluate.
can lift up a safe from the table.
I'm hopeful that it will be good. Like, I don't see it going badly, but you never know.
Yeah. No, you don't know.
You don't know. But we won't know until we try.
Right.
And
That's
I
right.
feel like a year is appropriate to say, hey, look, we tried it. Look, you made, 75% of the calls. Deluzio still had to come down for 25%, but you cut that number down. Our billing went this way, that way, just to see a big comparison between the before and after.
It's also not a bad time considering that as you noted, we're in summer. So we're having increased we're having increased activity already, and it gives us an opportunity to see what it might look like coming into budget season as well, and have some basis if the recommendation is we are absolutely ready to take on another paramedic and we are collecting whatever. Teresa, just to kind of go back to your point, and Felicia, correct me if I'm wrong, even if the Cheshire Med was not dispensing the narcotic and we were contracting through another service, we're still not going to have more than what we need on site. So we're not going to have a store. We're
No.
going to have what you would typically have, whether it's, 2 of this and 4 of that, and when that gets dispensed, we get
Then you
1
replace,
more or
yeah.
3, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're not-
And Jim would have to verify
To use
any of
that during the call, you're not going to store anything down there.
No. What do you mean? Like,
No any narcotics down at the fire ambulance department.
it'll be in the narcotics safe.
So I think Teresa's concern, which is also my concern, and I think maybe that this should be discussed in non-public, is the security of the fire and ambulance station and how it's going to be stored while it may be in a safe. Maybe a
that
couple
safe's gonna be
extra
safe?
security protocols that we could discuss in non-public.
I mean, and the safe will be completely bolted and installed internally into the ambulance, so it's not like someone can just grab the safe and run away with it. So it's not like,
But getting into the building would be relatively easy. And then once I get into the building,
You're still gonna have that card, you're gonna have the
I
2
can drive away
cards.
with the ambulance.
That can happen now.
Yeah.
Exactly, but at least there's no narcotics in there that are controlled drugs.
Yeah, I think.
there's stuff on the trucks right now that I wouldn't want anyone to have access to anyway,
Yeah,
like it
but-
could happen tonight and.
We get-
I think this is worth a non-public conversation before we can.
That particular subject is absolutely worth a secondary non-public conversation under safety. Yes.
I just got one more question. Now, you got 3 paramedics, you said now, they're not all going to be on the same shift at the same time, okay? So you're going to rotate them,
No,
okay?
If,
That's my only
if
concern.
if staffing allows and like, there's no like, if I have a hole in the schedule that I can't fill and Tim's available to take it, there may be a day that we have 2 paramedics on a truck, which is awesome. But generally speaking, there will not be scheduled to be together all the time. That way we can kind of
You have a bench.
even them out.
Yes, thank you.
I'll
Good
make a
job.
motion to approve this
I'll
for a
second
1-year trial period.
I'll
And there's a
that.
second. Is there any additional discussion or questions?
My only additional discussion would be that we bring into non-public the ways to secure the ambulance station further, and possibly, James, would you be willing to amend your motion to, once we figure out what to do with that security, then we would push forward with this?
Well, I think we can move forward with it. We'll figure something out to do with the security. I mean,
Yeah,
that, again, it's, like Barry said, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. I mean,
So as of right now for security, every door in that building is locked. The garage doors are locked. There's camera systems on the exterior, interior of the building. The PD's right there. I mean, I don't know how much more secure we can get the building.
I would
I think
definitely
I was trying to carry this conversation into non-public without the entire public knowing where a camera system is and what doors are there. That was my only stipulation. I completely agree with this. I am for it. That was just my only stipulation that I have.
well, there's a motion and a second. We can vote.
I mean, I would say for discussion, yeah, I'm hearing what Natalie and Teresa are saying with regard to safety, and I, as an optimist at heart, want to think that this board would not intentionally put anyone, in a compromised position or a safety issue, and I think if our conversation in public, non-public reveals that we have some significant concerns that we are not going to bring up at this table, that the board would be recognizing of that and revisit. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call the vote. The vote is to move forward with a one-year trial of the paramedic service. The total amount right now up to $3,700 to be reduced from the memorial fund. Is that your motion?
Yes.
And that's the second?
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion passes.
If we could schedule a non-public session.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen tonight.
I think it can happen right into our regular non-public.
Right, tonight? We have some time tonight to have that conversation.
Thank you so much for your time, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
You did a great job, Felicia. This is awesome.
Love the PowerPoint. We can do 5 minutes.
Good job, you guys, by the way.
All right, I got that. Okay, it's been nice. Whatever. Okay, you have to get up and speak at the mic now. I'll sit here.
Thank you. This one's open. Did you tamper with it?
Nope. Yeah, put arsenic in it, you bet.
You know if you bite these in the dark, they spark? Have you ever seen that? Nice shot. Wow.
Good catch. Yeah. Thank you, Felicia.
What are we on break for?
Good job
What's the
on
break?
this.
I'm good at trying to put things down on people's levels so they can understand. I punched her in the face like that. It was
What do they say? What do you tell a woman with two black eyes? Nothing. You already told her twice.
I think they're trying really hard. Really. I'm pleased with them. Yeah. Well, it used to be when we were with EMTs. Same thing. Back when I was the fire chief, I had this problem with CAG, and we made them boost their rates and bring in more money. You got to keep after them, because they get on a routine, and they don't,
I agree.
we got to keep after them.
Visiting regularly.
Yeah.
put you right on top, Amy, see? Yeah.
No, thanks. I'm not eating enough without that smell. So they haven't been working on your property at all?
Huh?
They haven't been working on your property?
No. Hey, are we gonna get going or what? You gotta get back to the VFW, right? You gotta get back to the VFW.
No,
No?
no,
You're not going back?
no.
Yeah, thanks, Chan. This thing, I don't know, it's sweating from the ice, but it made a mess of the table. Hopefully it clears up. I think I've done this in the past and I noticed that it's,
Use an almond.
all right, come on,
Teresa,
Teresa.
you ready?
I gotta be home by 6:30. I'm just kidding.
This is me, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
All right. I every time.
I know, now I don't, this is something of Mackenzie's and I just brought it tonight.
It's a blender bottle.
I know,
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I noticed it said that.
Uh-huh, I know.
What's that
I don't-
mean?
It's for like protein shakes, so
Yeah.
it's like how you blend up your
Yeah, but
shake.
why do I-
It usually
I don't-
has like either a ball or it has like a cage that breaks up but why does it leak? I don't know.
Well, the thing is too, is the
Design.
cover doesn't close right. The cover doesn't.
I always use a
latch.
straw with mine, I feel like. All right, well, all set. We're back in our regular business, and for any of those of just joining us, we just finished our 5:30 work session with the ambulance. They were coming to us with regard to elevating our service to paramedic level, and we did approve that. We have minutes from last week, June 8th.
Make a motion to approve those.
I'll second that.
Was there any change or corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. All right. Got a pretty hefty finance folder, so we're going to start with that tonight.
Make a motion to approve everything in there. Second that, Chance.
I mean, whatever works, man. First, we just had a couple of transfers, and this was with regard to diesel fuel, gas and oil. There's a transfer of $2,043.73.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. That's highway or fire?
This is from Highway. Yep. Water and sewer. Thank you.
Okay.
I was trying to quickly, I got caught up on these fuel logs, which remind me of things that come off of my own desk. Some coffee on there, some water. There was a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. All right. After our conversation last week with regard to the paving of Back Ashwillet Road, Amy went back to some of the funding because, as we all might recall, there was a lengthy conversation about the best use of funds to get this job done and having funds from ARPA in our, for future availability. There is an opportunity, and she is making the recommendation that we actually encumber these funds from our current budget, our bottom line. There is money to do it within our current budget and bottom line, and so instead of utilizing the ARPA funds, which has an opportunity to have a helpful impact over the next couple of years, our business manager is recommending that $152,055 come out of the bottom line.
Sorry, it's $55.
$152,055.
Yes.
Sorry, did I
Make a
say?
motion that we encumber
Wait.
those funds.
Second.
I'd like to talk about that first.
That's okay, there's a motion and a second, and now discussion.
Okay, that bottom line money could go back to the taxpayer for taxation with any surplus that we have. So why are we going to take away from the taxpayer that we might be able to give money back when we can?
So I'm not going to speak for Amy, but from our conversation, based on the current mill rate, the $152,000 would be
Probably around 20 cents.
20 cents. So
Yeah. And the motion has to be made to reconsider and redirect that money by one of the three of us, not by you or anybody else. It's
I
gotta
didn't
be
make the
one.
motion. James made the motion, Channy seconded the motion.
Okay. I'd like to have more information before I decide to do that, though. You're telling me it's 20 cents?
That means that means the mill rate would be like 750,000 though, right, Amy? If 150,000 is only 20 cents.
The mill, I didn't look it up, I didn't have time, trust me, I was working, trying to get to here. I believe the mill rate is 370 some thousand.
70 something?
Don't quote me on that.
Really would be more like 40 cents then, all right? Or, I mean, not that if we need to encumber the funds to,
I was just looking at freeing up the ARPA money instead of taking the second phase of the ARPA money and freeing it all up. Even if you don't want to take the whole amount, taking a portion of it bottom line, I did speak with our auditors. based on your conversation, because I was watching it from home, you guys said you really wanted to protect the asset of putting that road down by putting the top coat on, because why dump 200 and some odd thousand into a road that could shift or whatever it's going to do? So I was just thinking, with the economy the way it is, and we have it in the bottom line, just to take from the bottom line, I went through and I did the calculations of what we have coming in for revenue, what's going out for the next 2 weeks. We would still be giving back a little over 100,000 back to taxation.
I
That's
also
not-
think that with, Dale mentioned doing Goyamco Drive, maybe we should take this opportunity to fix another road that maybe,
Well,
needs it.
the thing is because the economy the way it is and everything's rising and stuff, you have these ARPA funds that we can use, and it doesn't necessarily have to all be used next year. Not knowing how this world's gonna end, not that the world's gonna end.
It's all right, Amy, we understand. It's okay, we understand.
You know what I'm saying? At least with the ARPA funds, we would have that money to rely on, if something, a disaster was to hit or something came up and we needed funds, rather than sitting there scrambling, we have an opportunity to. Again, I did speak with the auditor, she's fine with it, but she says that it does have to be the board's decision to do that, and then we can carry the funds forward into the next year to pay for that.
I also just wanted to touch on, when we're talking about the opportunity for the potential returns, I do know that the school is going to, the school district is going to have a fairly decent return to offer this year as well. We were unable to staff 9 positions throughout the entire year, which has left that salary in the budget. So I do know that, the board will be meeting tomorrow. Clearly, we have some additional discussion, but there is a number there that is going to be coming back to the town, because we're nicely ahead of a lot of our projects, have had an opportunity to utilize some of it and over the years. So
And I just wanted to
Why do we
clear
need
as
to,
well-
why can't we wait till we find out how much money, if the school's given back, and how much the town has for
Has
bottom
to be
line?
done by
Why do
next
we
week,
have to?
Amy, or the week after?
The week after, yes.
So we got a couple weeks.
So
We do,
I'd like
but
more
I've already went
concrete
through.
information about how much is actually going back towards taxation, and how much money this board is going to vote for that.
I'm not going to know that until after June 30th.
Yes, exactly, which is in a couple of weeks, right?
No,
But if we
I
don't-
won't know until after June 30th how much is going back, because I still have revenue that is coming in. And
Right.
then after June 30th, we always pay for some invoices that have lagged in that we don't know about.
And we have to
We
make,
cannot.
Yeah, but we don't have to
cannot-
make that decision right now. My point
On
is,
this
because
you do.
Dale,
No, on this you do, because you cannot carry it forward after June 30th.
So,
have-
if I may, the way I look at it is, obviously we want to save, that we want tax savings. There seems to be some money coming back from the school. With us taking this project out of our bottom line, we're still returning money to the taxpayers, but we are also still securing and keeping our ARPA funds that we don't necessarily have in hand, which for us would be fiscally responsible, because we don't actually have that money in hand to spend it. And rather than us spending it now, and then if, God forbid, a situation happens where we have money that we need to expend that we don't have, we'll have to take out of TAN, which will further cost the taxpayers money. So to me, this seems the most fiscally responsible, because we are taking the money that we currently have, we're using it, and we're still returning to the taxpayers with a broader plan down the line to ensure that we never have to take out a TAN again. I'm going to say it again, never, because we don't want to do that anymore.
and
I also
and I
wanna
love it
bring-
when you guys bring the tan up. We don't know how much the school's going to give back either.
Can I just say one more thing too? Basically, these funds would not be available for this, but because, same as the school, our short staffing, which everybody knows with the PD, it's in our police retirement, the health insurance coverage, you know, so it's not like we didn't like had the budget, but we
We raised and
appropriated that
appropriated,
money
yeah.
for those officers to be in place. Unfortunately, we did not have those officers to be in place, so therefore the funds are available. If we had a full force over at the police department, we wouldn't be having this discussion because we wouldn't have these funds.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
looking-
understand that.
Okay,
I understand that. You know, I've been working with you for a long time. I understand that. But you can't give me a concrete answer about, and I understand why, that you can't give me a concrete answer about it.
I mean, Dale, do you have any projects in mind that you would like to do with the, if we kept the ARPA funds towards this back, you know, the road that you need to put the top coat on, is there, then you could use this? I mean, I know you mentioned Guamco Drive, and I forgot what you said that needed, but.
Well, it could flip the other way as well, to Nat's point.
Yeah.
And to Nat's point, and then to future projects for Dale, we have this money available now, which is responsible spending for a project now, and if Dale presents future projects, and then ARPA money is available. And also, we had the conversation that we're expecting potentially another disbursement of the highway block. So there is money that is specifically slated for municipal roads and the like services, potentially coming down the line. You can't use that for anything but roads, correct? So if that money comes out in, 4 months, Dale has another project such as Guamco Drive. We've taken care of this. Our ARPA funds are healthy and available. Highway block, another, so.
Yeah, but that highway block's already gone, that 100.
No, we're talking about a second.
We have a second one.
There's a,
Would you be,
Yeah, but I thought you said, so that's not, I thought we said we already used that for this.
no,
We already used
Yes,
some
you-
of it,
yeah.
and there's more money that we are due.
right.
we don't know how much though.
Yeah.
We don't.
Would you be more willing to make a motion to reconsider the 152 out of the ARPA funds and make it like 76,000 and then use 76 for the bottom line here?
Split the difference, yeah, I'll do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
So I'll make a
keep
motion
the
to
70
reconsider
keep-
anyway.
But
Keep the 76.
could we still discuss this a little bit more?
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
just throwing out.
No,
an
no, no.
idea.
I mean, I'm always, up for compromise. If that's what it takes for us to at least get some of our, money that we have currently now to be used to do this project, then so be it. But I'm just going to reiterate, we have the money now to do it. We do not have the ARPA money now to do this project. Why wouldn't we do it with the money that we currently have? What happens if the ARPA money doesn't come through? Then we have to take out a 10.
Or find that
Or
76 elsewhere.
Find it 76 elsewhere.
I also,
I'm trying to compromise, so the fact that we could have some money back towards taxation.
I'd like to discuss that point just real quick. Last year, we actually dipped into our overall, I don't want to call it, our unfund balance. Thank you. So when we talk about returning, we're talking about putting money into that fund balance, which currently has, correct me if I'm wrong, 350.
I don't know. And I'm
Be-
not-
Yeah, not even gonna come close.
So because last year there was more than 600 and we only took out 250.
Taxation.
So there's already money in the unfund balance to return on taxation. So if 100,000 goes back from this bottom line, there is enough money in that fund where we could do more than just 28.32 cents on the dollar. We could do $1.
That makes sense. I didn't.
Yeah, but the state also recommends that you keep a certain percentage in there.
Yeah.
Because if there's a catastrophic incident,
Correct.
that you can utilize that money.
Which
And-
we would use our ARPA funds when we have it.
Or exactly, if there
And/or
was,
something
get it.
else.
My
Exactly, if we
suggestion is
have it.
this. I would do 76
70.
out of the, 70 out of that, and then the other
Do we have
half out of.
76 in the
I
ARPA
prefer
fund
you have the
now?
Yeah,
motion as
because
it
we
was.
just
We don't
spent
have
152.
it.
You know what, we're beating a dead horse. I'm just gonna keep my motion to encumber the $152,000 and use that for the, to do the road now and save the ARPA funds. We're
And
not
Chan,
getting
is that
anywhere.
still your second?
Yes.
Is there any additional discussion? I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any
No.
opposed?
No,
The motion passes 4-1 for, and I just want to make sure I did this right. Amy's got me notes. Right, for the creating of the purchase order for the $152 and
But
$55.
now I need a motion for the
So-
transfer, which
Right.
is highlighted in green.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to transfer that.
how do you know you have that much money left over if you haven't paid everything yet?
Because
We've encumbered.
Ricky went through, so we have purchase orders out there.
Yeah.
She's went through what we have. We went through like our electricity, our phones and all that. Everything's been paid 12 weeks.
And no unanticipated bills that you can say that?
That I do not know. That's why I did not want to go bare bones. That's why
Right.
right now we have a little over 100,000 still remaining after the whole funds are gone, the credits that are coming in, and the other debits that I have going out. Which is also, some of it is included in this folder.
I'll second Jim's motion.
Yep, so
Wait, we already
James'
voted on
motion is the,
Oh, new one, sorry.
yep, James' motion is to make the transfer of the funds from the various other lines, the merit increase, police retirement, health insurance, streetlights, NU officer?
I'm sorry?
The NU officer?
Not used. Not
Thank
used.
you. And the highway block grant, all of those lines will be transferred out into this, into the highway line
So
for that
most of it's
152.
taken out of personal administration.
There's a motion. Chan, did you second that?
Yes.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No,
Motion carries 4-1. I'm just going to write that down.
You want to come show me where to sign this thing, Natalie?
Yeah, bud. Yeah, if you want.
All right.
Sorry, Jan.
Oh, look at that, Chan.
Next up,
and Dale, I still support your road, but you know, I don't want to take it up.
next up, Amy is recommending that we move forward with a purchase order in the amount of $3,500 to allow Upton and Hatfield to review all of our personnel policies and provide some updates as well. Over the last year, we've had an opportunity to really dig into some of our personnel policy handbooks and recognized an area of opportunity. She's recommending that we encumber the $3,500. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. This was a conversation that actually came up during budget season. This is an upgrade to the software program over at the police department. This is called PMAM. This is a training program that tracks, creates, organizes, and makes accessible monthly training so that officers can meet and exceed yearly training requirements per the New Hampshire Standards and Training. The program is set up to assist in creating policies and procedures that support best practices I am absolutely certain that this means a lot more to the police than it does to me. CALEA compliant.
What's that? Sorry.
It sounds like it's because it's a policies and procedures to support best practices for their compliance, so I'm guessing it's an overseeing body for
Right.
police regulatory, but I'm really bad with acronyms.
How much is that?
This total program recommend is $6,850. It also has an internal investigations component, which allows for storage, case management, and that relates to all internal investigations, which I'm sure we can all agree is probably then doubly locked down. As with the training program, it provides some year-end results, and this invoice is for 2 years of service.
How much is it?
$6,850. I'm going to make a motion to approve.
We don't have anybody over there to train, do we?
Well, it's a program that, oh, shoot. Took the sticky. It's not just about the training, it's also about like the policies and procedures to ensure compliance and this internal investigations component. I think the tracking of the training and ensuring that, you know, when we have new officers coming in, we know that they're taking all of their training appropriately is,
I'll second it for discussion, just because I have a question.
yeah.
Is this the only certification that they can get from this, sounds like a third-party company, or like an overseeing company, or can that come from
only-
elsewhere?
So this is a software program.
Right, yeah, so it sounds like a third party.
Yeah.
Do we have other quotes from other, or are they the only people that certify?
No. Well, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say no to start because this conversation actually came up during budget season, at which time I believe
I was not here.
chief, it came up before the budget committee.
Yep.
I believe the chief had looked for various programs. This was the one that met all of those check boxes that were most important for what he was looking for. So I don't think
Okay.
he intended to do an updated, you know, quote for other vendors.
And that quote was last pulled,
I believe just last week.
Just last
Yeah.
week, it says 6/8/22.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's
So
all I
there's a
have.
motion and a second. We had some discussion. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm gonna say no on that one.
All right. Amy, the motion fails because, well, there was.
I didn't hear them.
I didn't hear Teresa, did you vote?
No,
Are you gonna vote?
yeah, give me a second to think about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
I didn't hear Chan vote either.
He did.
Oh,
Chan
okay.
shook his head.
Okay.
So I'm sorry because I thought
Did you
Teresa.
say aye, Chan?
No, he said no.
Who made, I thought you made the motion. No, you
I made the
didn't.
motion and Natalie second for discussion.
Discussion.
$6,000, where's he taking it out of?
It's going to be encumbered out of the current budget.
So it's a bottom line, he doesn't have a line item there for it, he just wants 6,000?
No, it
And it's
would
gonna
be
be out
out
of
of-
the bottom line
Nope,
of the budget?
hang on, he is going to take it out of police contracted services. Yep,
Did he have money in there?
yes. The budget was 10,320. There will be an offset from the rest of the line. I mean, it's showing a negative if this PO comes out of 3,400, but the balance remaining in the total line is, am I reading this right, Amy, 179? Balance
So-
remaining?
No.
Thank you.
So it will be, bottom line, he's fine. This individual line, because of this PO, it overdraws the line by
Right.
$3,411. Bottom line, his budget is fine.
Yeah,
What's his
To cover.
bottom line with that?
$165,137.73.
staffing,
Yeah.
Correct.
staffing.
yeah. It's where all of the funds are, you know, nobody can't find
You
people.
ready to vote now, Teresa?
Yeah,
She's thinking.
yes.
Motion passes 3-2. Pass that down, please. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, pass it back. There was a second flaggy.
With only one signature needed.
Yes.
Did you just call that a flaggy?
I did. I did.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh
It's
at you.
okay, you
I've
can
never
laugh.
heard it be called a flaggy ever.
I can't even remember the date.
The 15th.
Thank you.
You need, oh, never mind, that was one.
It is right there. Okay. Another conversation with regard to the police department and police uniforms. We're in the process of hiring. We need to get some uniforms. There is a increasing cost in the gear, and so we're looking to bring in, oh, it doesn't say how many, hang on.
This would
It's
be
enough for
some of the-
5?
Some of the equipment to uniform up to 3 officers is how I placed it. Currently, next year's budget, there's 7,500 in there. But of course, you want to take the safety, making sure that you got the proper gear for the officers as they come in for safety purposes and so forth. So he got a quote for some of the equipment, not size, like some of the shirts, but they're not size. But he has a quote from this company for
Neptune.
that.
So are these, we're going to purchase them now, or we're going to have
We're not purchase them now. It's like a pre-order. but
Gotcha.
Once we have a body to fill them, then he would place the order for whatever size that.
And they're
she
letting us
will
lock
do.
in this price now?
I'm assuming, don't quote me on that one, I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I don't see any point, if you don't have anybody to wear the stuff, why we even need to, I mean,
Well,
if
some of
it's
these are
locking,
for-
if it's locking in a price, I understand that, but
I don't know if it's locking in a price or not. I actually am the one that made the recommendation to him. I know that he's reached out to a couple of other towns, and they're also doing that, just because cost is going up. When you budgeted for it, we weren't in the predicament we are today. So to utilize, I mean, the gas, everybody knows gas is gonna go up. So, I mean, there are gonna be line items that are gonna be overdrawn next year's budget.
What's the price of bicycles?
That's,
And so bicycles?
Yeah.
of course,
Hope so.
I own 2 feet. And the amount is $4,368. Since I'm going to make a motion to approve, as we've already discussed. Is there a second?
Let me take a friendly amendment here. I'll second it.
What's the friendly amendment?
Friendly amendment would be to approve this
Ensuring
pending
it's locked in price.
it's locked in price.
Definitely all for that amendment. So the motion is approval with confirmation that this is the locked-in price.
Right, because if you're gonna lock in that price and then, a year from now it doubles, it's worth it.
Right.
In my opinion.
And just to be clear, that would mean that if he cannot ensure that this is the locked-in price, we would not enter into this contract agreement.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But
agree
looking,
with that,
sorry,
yeah.
can I speak?
Yeah.
Yep. Looking at it the way you just said, a year from now it doubles. Well, now he doesn't have the monies to buy it, so.
Right,
No,
but if it's locked in,
this price, Amy.
Correct,
Yeah.
but if it's not locked in, we don't have the monies to buy it. So now we're not uniforming our employee with the best.
I will
Whatever
make-
police needs.
I will make another amendment to your motion, Lindsay, if you would so accept that. I would make a motion to table this until we find out if this is locked in or not, and then make a decision.
Yeah, well, then I'll withdraw my motion, and I think that's a fair enough point to just find out what the, and if,
next week.
and
We have
the
time
answer
next
might
week,
be,
right?
You would have to make the decision next week.
Yes.
After that, it's done.
yes.
Well, the other thing is, though, Amy, he's still, most likely, he's gonna be short-staffed, so if we could take money from one of those lines if we had to, right? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, we will table this with just a touch more detail about whether or not this is
No,
a
absolutely.
locked-in price, and then make a decision regardless next week. We might still decide to go forward because of some other information that comes up.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it'd be, sorry, Lindsay, it would be helpful if he had a comparison, or maybe he doesn't, but what the cost of uniforms were the previous year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, we can do a transfer, because I don't know if he's gonna fill the whole, all of his positions open or not.
All right. This is a
buy
request.
$4,000 worth of uniforms, they work for 2 weeks, and then they, I mean,
Sounds like we need a uniform policy, James.
Bring it back. This is a request for a transfer for a total of $19,291.39 from general, wait a minute, do you have this in,
Let me explain it.
thank you, I think you have it in 3 different, okay, you
Yep.
do. Yep,
So the first sheet that you have is 19,291.39, or, yeah, 39 cents. That's for general, so
Yep.
that's for, basically most of the employees. So when we were budgeting back for the 21-22 budget, I never picked up on it until, I don't know, a few months back. There's 53 pay periods in this fiscal year. I only budgeted for the 52. So I'm requesting that we take from the police department line, one of the lines that we have surplus in, when that's not being used, and transfer that into each of the line items to cover that 1 week payroll. And then there's a one from the sewer department and one from the water department. Water and sewer is coming from their own, because they're their own entities, and then the general will be coming from that one line item.
I'll make a motion to approve all three of those.
All three, thank you.
Second that.
Second,
Yeah.
perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None motion carries.
So then, let me just read the amount. So the sewer department's gonna be $3,988.23. The water department's gonna be $3,519.12.
Oops, sorry, Jim.
All right. Next up is a recommendation for a change in the purchasing policy. The last time the purchasing policy was reviewed was back in 2008. Amy, would you like to discuss this any
Yes.
further?
So our purchasing policy that we have in place right now was done and approved in 2008. I did attach a copy of that. I'm not asking for the policy to change by any means, to keep it the same policy. I'm just asking that the amounts change. Back in 2008, those amounts that were set were great. The amounts I'm requesting for right now, currently, the department head has, they can spend up to $499.99 on their own, 500 and above, up to $2,999. They'd have to get approval by the town administrator. Anything 3,000 and above has to come to the board. Back in 2008, and a few years after, it was fine. Nowadays, you know as well as I do, prices have gone up. So to get a purchasing, to get the purchase order, means the department heads has to come upstairs, get the purchase order, have it signed, go down, either have Carrie sign it or
Wait.
send it to the board on a Wednesday. Can't do the project until after it's approved. So I'm just requesting that you guys increase it. I made the recommendation, for one, it'll slow up the traffic from coming upstairs to the office. That Carrie's limit would be up to $9,999. I'm requesting that the department head has the authority to spend up to $2,999. Anything over $10,000 would have to come before the board.
I'll make that a motion.
And I do want to point out that Carrie and I do watch the budget, along with Teresa, every single week.
There's a
And the
motion
reason
for,
why the policy was in
I'll
place.
second that for discussion.
Is because department heads were overdrafting their line items, and it wasn't you, obviously, but you didn't know that they were spending some money because it was before your time, and the department heads were spending more money than they should have, and they weren't communicating the purchase orders to you till after, to the accounting department, till well after. So we weren't able to take and keep a real close eye on the budget and on their line items. So I still have concerns with that. I have no problems with Carrie's numbers, but I don't want, limit the traffic that goes upstairs. Really? I want Amy and Carrie to be aware of everything that's being spent, because the buck stops at their desk. $10,000, I don't want, Carrie can spend whatever she wants, she's gonna call us as an emergency, but to have department heads or people that have
No,
basically more money to spend without your approval.
department
I get
heads up to,
3,000.
up to 299?
Yes.
2,999, and then carry up to the 9,999, I'm sorry.
Telling you.
And I did ask Amy before if this conversation had come up with any other towns, because I know she's been doing a lot of research across municipalities, and she said that the conversation hadn't come up. My experiences on the district side, and I know that this conversation came up all throughout last year based on the rising prices, and we did change our policy at the district to accommodate for that. So it's not surprising to me that, and I can't imagine for $500, I cannot think of a single project that Rick has done in the last, I don't even know
Yeah,
how
it's
long.
500, so why
Where
would
one
change
thing,
it? He's gonna have to go
Gas
up.
tank in your
He's
truck.
gonna have to go upstairs anyways. It's gonna be over
For the most part, though,
$10,000.
the town department heads do communicate with Carrie on a
these are
daily
different,
basis.
we have new department heads then from 2008, correct?
No,
No.
we have a couple, but like Dale's like
Rick's
an
still
old
there.
dinosaur around here. He's been.
Rick,
31
Dale,
years.
I mean,
No, the only thing, and
Well,
I'm
that's-
not, you know, the thing is, when we get close to the $10,000, we're supposed to have 3 bids, I mean, so, and again, I understand it's for an emergency purpose maybe, and it's not gonna happen very frequently, but,
I wonder, I'm sorry to
no,
interrupt.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if, this, my brain is moving here. I wonder if there's an opportunity to have this conversation at the same time that we have the conversation about the software that we've been talking about for asset management. Because the concern is that we're going to be potentially having a spending happening without the budget seeing the impact, you know, and there's going to be a delay. Would the asset management software play into that at all in terms of providing kind of a tracking for some of those larger purchases?
up-to-date tracking, like.
That's the
I don't
biggest
wanna-
thing, the
yeah.
up-to-date,
I don't want to
the-up-to-date.
hear 2 weeks later that a department head or Carrie approved, and normally she tells me anyways, or verbally says it, but $10,000. You know what, when you're looking at the budget and making sure that you got the right percentage on the bottom line and that you're within your budget, one fell swoop, 2 weeks late, it can mess your whole thing up.
Correct, and that's why I'm not giving the department heads free range. If you want to lower the department heads down to $199.99, that's fine. I would just like more than $500 because how much was it grease you bought?
Grease, you wanted to buy grease. It's gone up $5 a tube. So for one case of grease is 600.
Right, that's the kind of thing that we
Yes.
shouldn't have to be dragging down the rest of the process for a
a
normal
case of grease that
purchase.
you use on a daily basis.
We
Right.
just bought lug nuts, for God's sakes, at $10 a lug nut.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I was just gonna say, bolts
Yeah.
and nuts have gone up unreal, you can't.
How much would
steal.
it be for the department heads now?
Right now, the department has $499.99.
And Amy's
And you want
recommend,
I would
2,000.
suggest $2,999,
Yeah,
based on what's
3,000.
been coming upstairs. And we can do it as a trial basis, you know, for 6 months, and if, you know, if they're not behaving, we just take their allowance away from them.
That's all,
Can I make a friendly amendment, Chan?
sure.
That we keep the Carrie and Amy's amount that they wanted.
$9,999.
Yep, and the 9,999, and then change the department heads to
1,000.
1,000. 999.
They give them like 2,000.
Yeah, I think that's a friendly compromise.
I would go.
Yeah, that's it.
Then Carrie's would be from 1,999 up to, because on the paperwork.
Yeah,
it
she
says-
still gets her 9,999.
Correct, but
Yeah.
on the paperwork that you guys are signing, you just need to change her limit from 2,999 to.
To the
9,000,
9,999,
To
right.
the 190.
Yep. To the 1,999.
I can fix it.
We have a motion. We can-
Yes.
It's fine, Amy.
Chan, that was
Yes.
good?
So there's a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor?
And this is,
Aye.
wait, we're on a trial basis, right?
The motion did not say trial.
The motion did not say trial. Would you like,
It's not a trial, but you know what, you
you can always
make a
revisit.
motion to
Yeah.
Consider it if you vote in the affirmative and you want to change it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like 6 months from now, you could say, I don't like it.
It
I
was
wanna change it.
a motion by Chan and a Nat second.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
got you.
And I'll call the vote one more time.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. All right, next up. There has been some conversation, Amy has brought this to us a couple of times. She started to do more and more research, and the conversation is about allowing department heads to carry and be responsible for a town-issued credit card. to allow purchases where only credit card purchases is allowed, which comes up pretty frequently. Amy, if you'd like to just discuss where that's coming from?
So I'm just gonna change avenues a little bit, because a few weeks ago I asked Carrie to bring to you guys' attention, to change over credit cards from TD Bank over to Capital One. We're not going with Capital One now because they want us to guarantee a $25 million revenue. And I said, well, we're only asking for a $6,000 limit on 2 cards and $3,000 on others, so they still want the $25 million. So I moved on. We're working with Savings Bank of Walpole. They're affiliated. They don't have credit cards through the bank, but they have an affiliation with a company where they get their credit cards from, and they have accepted to go with us to offer us that without the $25 million revenue guarantee. So with that being said, currently, with the previous boards, we had a motion that the credit cards would be kept upstairs in my office. They would have to come in every time, sign out the card, bring back the receipt, sign the card back in, and leave it. Every time they need to do a purchase, they'd have to come upstairs and get it. I did speak with the auditor. She is fine with the department head holding onto the card. The other reason I would like the department heads to hold onto their own cards, for one, they're responsible. Every invoice that they get, they have to sign it before it gets paid anyways. So if they misuse the card, of course, we will know that as well, and of course, we can take that away from them as well. But for the most part, our department heads are very good about their credit cards. I would like them to be able to carry them. On the weekend or an evening when the office is closed, I'm not available to come up here. I mean, I guess they can call me, but I won't be happy if I have to get up in the middle of the night for a water break.
And
Because
Rick needs something.
they need something or
Right.
something.
And-
Or on a weekend. This way, they have the cards. If they have an emergency, they can make the purchase on the weekend, after hours, evening, without coming to do that.
Are you raising their limit also?
No, no.
And
And you
this was-
guys already set the limit, so
Okay.
Rick and Carrie will have $6,000. The other department heads that have them now will have $3,000.
Okay.
And it still follows the same purchasing policy that we just
Correct.
enacted. So they still can't make a purchase more than that $999
Correct.
on that card.
Yes.
I know we didn't make a motion yet, but I did talk to Amy about this before, and I would just like to see a policy specifically written as to the new procedure and what happens if the procedure is not followed, what are the repercussions of not following that procedure? Are you suspended for X amount of days? Are you immediately terminated? What that is. And then Amy did explain that with the new thing that we just passed,
I was
that
just going to say that.
they would write it into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm sorry, was there a motion?
No.
Is there a motion?
Yes.
I will second. Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. My sciatic is just really bothering me, so I got to stand.
You want me to kick you in the ass?
I'm pretty sure that won't help you. Last,
Yes, last
from
thing.
Amy's folder, is, we have an issue over at the town beach, and we'd like to consider the highway department removing the playground.
I'll make a motion for the highway department to remove the playground.
Second,
Is there any additional discussion?
Why are
What's
they?
going on with, yeah?
It's
Yeah.
broken.
oh, it's broken, it's rotted out.
It's rotted out, it's bad, it
How many
is.
years ago did we put this up? Yeah.
Yeah, so that needs to be removed.
Gail, don't.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
I would just like to say that after that is removed, that we consider some additional sources, maybe do some crowdfunding to get a new playground put
I
there.
asked Amy to speak with the beach committee
She
about
said
that.
she did.
Huh?
I think she did.
that's
I
good.
reached out and to one of the members that was on the committee. She
Yeah.
says that the beach committee has not met in 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So
Wow.
that's why I just brought it to you guys, because to me, it's a liability. Like I said, a child that's cut their foot, another child that's fallen from the swing
Yeah,
set.
we know, we just voted to license you.
So I think maybe after we talk to the beach, maybe pull the beach committee in here to see what we can do to get a new one there. If not, we come up with some other ulterior
Talk to lifeguards, too.
way to get us a new
Yep.
playground.
Teresa, are you
Talk to the
finished with me?
lifeguards too. Huh?
Are you finished with me? Because I'd like to go home.
Yeah, I'll deal with you tomorrow.
What if we put a
She
water,
knows your telephone number.
Teresa, what if,
I got it in my
I
phone.
know that she wanted me here, so before I just got.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Don't think I don't appreciate you being here.
Bye, Amy. Have a good
I needed to hear
night.
from you. So, because I couldn't call you this week.
Those are fireworks.
How many you got?
9. We have
Pass 'em
9
all.
fireworks permits.
Motion to approve them all if they've been approved by the fire and.
I'm just
fire and,
double
police
checking.
department.
And I'll second that.
There's a couple that do need chief's signature. I'm assuming it was just a crossing in the mail kind of thing.
You signed all those, I thought.
Barry signed off on
Police
them.
chief.
Yeah. And they're pretty much, and just as a reminder, if there was a motion and a second?
Yep.
All those,
My motion was that the police and fire chief signed, and the police chief signed them. and
so
approve them.
I'm assuming this is just because Barry signed off on them, so I'm assuming it was just a matter of missing them in the folder for
The chief.
the chief
for
didn't-
the
of
chief?
police.
Oh, the chief didn't sign those ones?
Yeah, there's just 2.
Well, let's set those aside till next week then.
Sorry. I don't know if they got pulled out of the box.
So we are approving 7.
And for
You
those
must have
2,
missed them.
I just want, they were received timely, so I don't
Yes,
want
they
there to
were.
be an issue. Yeah, they
The
were
date's
received.
on here.
Yeah, they were received timely, so we'll get those approved next week as soon as the chief signs them. The rest of them have all been done. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That
Got
person.
that guy.
Yeah.
If you want to just like initial, don't even sign your whole name, just initial.
Oh, thank you. I was going to ask that
Go
question.
for it. I have the minutes back, so.
I just wanted to make a point while Lindsay's passing it down. These documents that the ambulance department supplied to us.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, they have to be shredded because it's got the patient's name on it.
Yeah.
Under HIPAA, we can see the names, other people cannot, so please put them to
Give them
be
back for
shredded.
shredding.
Give them to Carrie so they can shred them.
I don't have one.
All right. Is everyone good for me to move on? You can initial and listen? Awesome. Last week, we were asked a question about, it came in as like a question about an abatement, but it's really, we have a resident who's basically requesting confirmation that she's not going to be charged multiple units if and when she turns the water back on to a particular unit to do repairs. So there's no water or sewer currently going to the residents. Nobody lives at the dwelling. But there's a hope in the future that work will be done to the house. And this resident isn't quite sure what work is going to be done or how many units might be there, but is asking the select board to basically say that we're not going to charge her for all of the units if one unit gets turned on. Is that what I'm kind of understanding?
Well, when you turn on water, the water goes
You can't,
to all the units.
all of the units, exactly. So, but that's what she's basically asking of us.
So my understanding is if there's multiple units, one of the units is upstairs, which you can't even get to because the stairs are not I guess they're not safe, and the floor is caving in. So I see what her point is she wants to get it fixed, but if she turns the water on, because she has the other kitchen upstairs, she will have that flat rate fee, even though you don't have access to it upstairs.
I
The
still,
water still,
yeah.
She's
so,
gonna live downstairs when the upstairs is caving in on her, is basically.
No, I think it's more to do the work.
Well,
it's
said the
more about
floors-
construction and trying to get the water, if she turned the water on to get construction going.
Why does she turn the water on to get construction going? If you're gonna turn the water on to do construction, I mean, then you're like, you're dead-ending pipes that are, you're shutting off the main anyway to do construction, so why, she wouldn't be charged for that anyway?
I kind of feel like the question has to come to us when more is known about the
her
project.
and what she's gonna do.
Because
So
it's,
why don't we
it's,
just table it?
yeah,
I will have a more
additional
detailed
discussion.
conversation And have her hold off until she's ready.
perfect. We have a letter from Southwest Region Planning Commission, and this is in regard to the 10-year transportation improvement projects. They are seeking feedback from local officials in preparations for the state of New Hampshire's 10-year transportation improvement plan, referred to as the TYP. Never gonna remember that.
10-year plan.
Yeah, exactly. This is what it is asking us to do.
They're asking us to identify projects that we would like to.
Yes.
So, for years, Dale.
Nominate a new
can attest,
project.
Manning Hill has always been on our 10-year plan,
Right.
but it's never made the list.
It has to be a state highway that runs through our town, right?
So, I did have a couple questions, and Carrie couldn't answer them, but the bridge that's over by the tannery, Bridge Street, that's been shut down for quite some time. I think it'd be nice to see that reopened.
That's not on a state road, though, that's the, like you
But it's
just
right
said.
off a state road.
Yeah, but
Is it,
it's
does
not,
it fall under that?
It's towns.
It's a town bridge.
Yeah.
It's not a state bridge, so I don't think it would fall into this. And why did we shut it down?
Rotted underneath.
rotted out, right?
Was
I mean,
it because of
The
that?
cement was all decaying.
there's big holes in it, right,
Yeah.
Dale, still? I mean, the whole deck is gone.
Yeah.
So infrastructure grants, cool. Next, my other project was, I mean, this has to be current, does this have to be currently existing things that we want to see prepared?
Yeah, I would say
We
yeah.
can't add something new?
What do you want to add, a new
Oh,
state
well, I
highway?
would personally
No.
write a letter about Manning Hill again.
Right.
Manning Hill, yeah, that's been like a 30-year.
Yeah, and there's not, I can
It's
remember.
not, it's been a 30-year act.
Yeah, they've never-
I guess I would like to look into what they're asking for a
Yeah.
little bit more before.
Well,
I-
and we have some time to
Yes, that's
respond to
July
this, it's July 29th.
They put traffic counters up on Route 10.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
2 different places now.
Can you tell me what because I'm just not privy to it, what the Manning Hill project is?
They want to what,
They want
straighten the road
they want
out,
to
drop
straighten
it,
the road
right,
down by
Dale?
the ledges.
Up at the
Up on
top
top of
there, in
Manning
that
Hill.
one corner down where the brook,
Yeah.
By
yeah,
Pawchuck Brook?
yeah.
You want to straighten it?
Well, take that curve out, drop the elevation of the hill, there was talk about a climbing lane from both sides, I think.
So widening.
Widening.
So you want to
Widening
widen
it.
it, right by the protected brook? Cool, okay. Thank you.
Well, I think they'll go the other side of the road is what
Yeah.
but again, the land is an issue.
Right. All right, so this is due back by July 29th.
So give it some thought, let me
We can
know.
have some thought, and I don't know that we need an hour for it, but maybe as we get a little closer, like a half an hour quick work session, just to jot down some ideas.
Take a ride
Can you
down by-
send it to me? Carrie, an email?
Because
Thank you.
the Manning Hill project has continued to be a project that just doesn't seem to go forward, maybe it's time to come up with another opportunity so that one of our projects could end up going forward.
Just a little on that bridge up there that you're talking about.
We're in the wrong
The
time.
state said that
Get anything done.
we used to open that, we have to buy both those houses, so we got turn-in lanes to
So
get on.
you'd have to create a right of way then? Okay.
So that's,
No, I'm curious.
No, no,
Let's
let's-
talk about it later, because I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Cool.
just saying.
So we have a notice of intent to excavate. This is tax map 15, lot 20, out on Kempton Road.
Make a motion to approve that.
We,
Don't need it.
we just
We
sign
don't.
it.
No, it's
Just sign
excavation.
it.
Just sign it.
You just need a motion to collect the tax after the gravel's been harvested like the timber.
Yep. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah,
There's
thank
that.
you.
And a notice of intent to cut wood or timber, Mat Lot 3, Lot 18, 18-1, and 19. And this is to cut, again, this is not to collect, correct?
Yeah.
We have a couple of sewer abatements. The first is for a pool filling in the amount of $32.49.
Make a motion to approve that one.
I'll second.
That's been approved by,
It's been approved by the water department.
Yeah, okay, good.
Or by the sewer department, yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion passes. And I apologize, these two are property abatements. I said 3 water sewer, but these are property. This is an abatement on a camper. It is registered, and that is the reason for the abatement, $273.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. And actually, this is an identical thing. We have a registered camper, and the abatement is $242.
Make a motion to approve that.
And I'll second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Whoa, we're getting down there. We have a notice from the Zoning Board of a Variance Application Review and Public Hearing. This is scheduled for July 14th. To all abutters and others to be notified. The Zoning Board will hold a public hearing regarding a request for a variance. This occurs before the application can be considered. All abutters are notified. I'm trying to find the
I
property.
believe it's across the street, Main Street.
It is. It is 78 Main Street, map 26, lot 18. The owner wishes to convert a single-family home into a duplex. It's like,
Right, it's the very last house on the end.
yep. So that is just a notice, an FYI, a public hearing on July 14th. It does not,
July
7
14th.
PM.
7:14, 7 PM?
Yes, 7:14, 7 PM. Is this whole packet public stuff?
Just the flag, the flagging. whatever
The
you-
yellow flaggy?
Yes, so that
Okay.
is a leave of water
The rest of this is for additional discussion.
after.
Yes,
We can
okay.
review it and have additional discussion later.
Okay, this is a water abatement. The amount requested was $1,929.20. The reason for the request for the abatement is this was actually a town deeded property. At the time that we took the property, there was a water leak unbeknownst to us occurring in the basement, resulting, just want to make sure, resulting in some flooding. Now, Rick denied it, but there's also a recommendation for an actual abatement amount.
That was me.
Okay,
Well, no, I apologize. Danielle, I think, went out and read the meter.
gotcha.
Because there was some, once the fix happened, there was some water used by the person. Because I guess the house was empty. There was
Yeah.
nobody there.
The pipes froze.
Yep.
It flooded.
So it's not the person who's requesting it, but the full amount. Danielle went out and somehow read the meter, figured out what amount should be abated and what amount should be paid because the water was being used.
And is this one of those situations where it's over the amount that Rick would usually, or he just does, or you just don't think it should be abated?
I believe he thinks it
Yeah,
is.
well, honestly, I personally,
The mini mic.
I don't believe we have all the information here, because I believe personally, when this property, when the town took it over, I did ask a question, and I believe someone from the family asked not to shut the water off, because they wanted to clean the house out. That's the last we had heard about that. Again, myself, this was, the person that bought that deed back from the owner. So we did not, the town, myself personally, particularly the water department, were left in the middle of this without being able to collect the funds for this water. And I don't believe that's fair to the water department. And I believe if the town was given the opportunity and we were told to do a final read, we would have captured that, and the new owner, that would have been part of their cost. So
Right.
that's my feelings on that. I do not have the authority to approve this type of abatement. but I do have a personal opinion as a water user and a taxpayer in this town, that these people bought this property in the way that they bought the property. I believe this is a bill that belongs to that property.
Motion
Unfortunately,
to deny.
because we had no opportunity to, I mean, again, it got caught up when we read it. We notified the people. I went out and shut the water off immediately. They wanted it right back on. We already fixed the problem, so.
I'll
again,
second
Motion
Teresa's.
to
There's
deny.
a motion to deny
Thank
in a
you.
second.
I,
Thank you, Rick. I just
Thank
wanted,
you.
there's some additional information here that we need to go over in non-public, correct, Carrie?
Yeah, but I know not everybody's read it, so I don't think it can be addressed tonight.
I'm just wondering if the conversation flows into non-public, if we should hold a vote until the rest of
No.
whatever, they're separate and distinct.
I feel like it is.
Then there's a motion and a second. Is there any?
So, I have discussion. I agree with the motion on the floor. I would just like to maybe, I know I can't add to the motion, but just talk about how we need some sort of check and balance when this happens, so that way we don't put ourselves in this situation
And
again.
that's what the second half of that letter is.
Okay.
And I don't think everybody's read it.
Okay.
To get a full understanding
Yeah.
of what we need to discuss.
The Water and
Okay.
Sewer Department would like to request the Select Board adopt procedures for securing
Perfect.
tax deeded properties.
Right.
Perfect, thank you.
That way, so if someone's in that house, which just normally happens,
Yep.
we go to shut the water off, there's been plenty of houses, people have stayed in those houses for sometimes for years.
Right.
The water stays, it goes through once it's tax deeded.
Yep.
It might be when the board responds.
We shut it off, we lock it, that's, yep,
But
cool.
instead, we're around, the water department's like a land out there right now, we have no, like I said, a lot of times, well, we shut the water, off, someone's in the house, we don't shut up, because they don't want to, you know.
I agree with you, Rick. All right,
So
cool.
there's a motion to deny and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Denied is noted, so I think we can go ahead and sign that. And that's it. We will have non-public. I just don't have that folder. Anything from the department heads? We paving the back road
They're
tomorrow.
paving the back road tomorrow.
Thank you.
Which
Thank-
road is that, so people know online?
Back
They're-
Ashwellet.
Back Ashwellet Road will be paved tomorrow.
And I just want to remind the board that with ARPA funds, we bought another 1,000 feet of 8-inch pipe, and I would like everyone to have an open mind to another project. If we do get these ARPA funds, as we were talking about, when we have them in the bank, or if we get some more block grant money. I spoke to our highway superintendent several times about this project, but not in detail recently. But we're going to be doing the borings for our tank site, and that project's going to be ready to go out to bid this fall. So would like to look at the intersection, the five-way intersection of Elm Street, Woodard Ave, Clark, Old Chesterfield Road, and Old Westport Road. Old Westport Road was left off, a certain section of that was not repaved on the last round that Dale did that. And I'd like to look at perhaps putting a package together, the board, that we could put that out to bid, and maybe using our funds to some ARPA funds to repave that, reclaim it, repave it. That intersection's a mess. We can cut down on some of the, when we go back again, what we have to re-excavate out there and kind of basically secure that intersection and make it so we're all ready for the booster station in that area. So again, like I said, we've been waiting for this 1,000 feet of pipe for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months since the board approved it, and I know it's on its way. Obviously, we'd need how many services there. We'd have to do some bypass plumbing, again, some back feeding to shut that main down into that intersection. I got some kind of a plan to do that, maybe go up Woodard Ave to the next hydrant, if we can make some of that work, and reduce, the cost of putting that booster station in, because I believe our project, it's been out there for 3 years, the water tank and the booster station. It's bound to come in, if it comes in under what we have allocated left to do this. I just don't, we're going to have some problems. So we've already talked about doing some plumbing, some underground plumbing in that area. So I just want to let the board, I'd like to start working on that, because we're going to kick off the Mandan Hills shortly and work with the highway superintendent, maybe coming up with those projects, and then we can put this out, if there's any time this fall for paving and a contractor that's available, maybe we could put some kind of package together to get on this, so just to put a feeler out there
How
for
about
everyone.
putting a roundabout up there?
Pardon?
How about putting a roundabout up there?
I mean, again, if anyone knows that intersection, it's a mess.
That
It
intersection's
needs,
bad.
it really needs some work, and we
It
could
does.
cut down, I mean, if we just put a base down, to start off with, in some of the areas, basically in the five intersection, the Old Westport part, if we start on that area, what we got left, basically, we're under the influence of 6-inch pipe there.
Yeah.
We did do some 8-inch around Old Westport Road and Howard Street several years back, so I'd like to connect on that with 8-inch, start trying to get some of the 6-inch out there with some 8-inch, so we're feeding that area with 8-inch, and then when we put that booster station on,
Is there any way you could put together a wish list?
I do have a wish list. I put that together, and it was kind of, it was probably overwhelming, but I would more than be happy to categorize that, especially just focusing on this intersection right now.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again,
please.
I can tell you, part of that wish list, we keep putting in for the old Chesterfield Road, Howard Street, getting some 8-inch water mains in that area, getting up to those higher elevations, so we have better, fire flows and better volumes of water. Again, the booster station, I mean, that's just going to be, that's going to help just Clark and Old Chesterfield Road as far as, those higher elevations or real higher ones, but I'm still thinking about all the other ones in that area that they've struggled with water pressure over the years and being able to sustain that without water breaks in those areas less frequently than we do now.
Great, thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Oh, Barry?
Hey, I'm glad to see the diners open over on Main Street finally.
Yep.
It's a nice place, nice and clean, nicely run, and I'd like to just put it, I'm glad.
It's a gathering place.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad it's open because the town needs a place like that.
Yep.
Little coffee shop spot.
A breakfast spot.
Yeah.
I just think it's,
Oh,
So our new engine one is going back to the rep that we bought it from. There's a warranty issue with paint. They're covering 50% of it. We have to pay 50%. It's a total of $1,600 out of our end of it. There's some other paint issues that I'd like to get taken.
I'm sorry, Barry, I can't hear you over Rick talking.
Rick, sorry, thank you. It's just a little background. Thank you.
Did you catch any of that, or?
I did.
So,
I have
while the truck's down there, we have some other paint issues that I would like to get addressed while it's there. There's a couple issues on the side of the cab and then some spots on the back, the running board. So while it's down there, I'd like to get that taken care of. I've reached out to the rep to see how much it's gonna cost. He hasn't got back to me. So I was looking before tonight, before the approval of Carrie's increase, if we could get this, get Carrie to approve up to, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000. I don't foresee it being that much money, but the way everything's increasing in price, I just want to make sure that we're covered while it's down there, and I don't want to get halfway through the project and say, well, it's going to be double that.
Where's that coming from?
That's
It'd-
gonna
it'd
come out of
our budget.
his current budget.
Which
So
I
we
have
to
$24,000
also
left.
approve Encumbering the money out of his
Yes.
budget.
So the
So-
$1,600 plus whatever else would come out of my budget. And the bottom line I have is $24,000 left in my budget.
And so, I'm sorry, you're talking including the 1,600,
No, that was just before the, there was-
Gotcha.
Yep.
so you're looking for a motion up to?
Yes.
Well, it falls within your,
It does,
But
but
it-
I
this was
need the
bef-
motion to make sure you guys are okay with taking,
Encumber it.
encumbering these funds, so you might as well just approve it.
yes.
make that a motion.
Yep, so there's a motion on the floor from Chan, I'll second, or Natalie, whichever.
Up to $6,000 out of the current budget.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None, motion passes.
Thank you.
Anything else, Barry? You're welcome. Dale, are you sure? Nothing? I mean, you're here, just making you, and Carrie, anything for you?
I just have a two quick things. I received a call from Senator Denise Riccardi.
Yep, that's
Her
our
office.
new senator.
Okay, so the office called, wants to set up a meeting with the Board of Selectmen sometime in July. So I
That
just
is-
wanted to verify a date, because I don't know if
Oh.
there's anybody not going to be around.
Yes, thank you.
So that is, it's also an election season, so she is running against somebody else coming soon. So, I mean, it's worth it to have a senator down here that now that we've been redistricted. Because it probably might be the last time we have a senator
Might be
down
the
here.
only time we
But,
see it.
yeah.
So July 6th, 13th, 20th, or the 27th?
Is that on Wednesday?
They're all on
That is all
Wednesdays.
Wednesday, it'd be during our regular meeting.
I am not going to be here on the 13th. I am on vacation.
Wrong.
So Teresa,
Why don't we shoot for the 27th, the end of the month?
27th, perfect. And
July
Teresa,
27th.
you're running the meeting on the 13th.
I will not be here the week of the 4th, FYI. I'm on vacation.
Okay, that's July 6th.
What?
Wrong.
My company gives me the whole week off paid. I'm like, hey.
I'm going. Actually, while we're talking about that, just so we can make sure we have a quorum, any other person on vacation the 6th or the 13th? No? No? All right then.
I haven't asked my wife, so I can't tell you.
Fair enough. I just had a,
Well, I got one
oh,
more
you got
thing.
one more, I'm sorry.
I just want to bring to the board's attention that I was able to finish up our annual insurance service, our ISO, which is our national flood insurance program that we partake in every year. I finished it up a couple months back. I just got the results that we will still keep our nine classification. So everybody who's in the flood area will keep that 5% discount.
Yep.
So whatever it passed, the information and how we handle it, they agree to, so we keep that classification.
Awesome. That's a benefit to our residents who have to have flood insurance, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I just had one quick thing, which we've already addressed throughout the evening, but last week we did receive a comment that came in to the town administrator through our website, just reminding audience and anybody who's not at a mic at the table to make sure that they're speaking into the mic. It's much clearer to hear on the live stream. And then my only other thing was to remind everybody that music in the park started last Thursday. It continues tomorrow. Tomorrow is Steel Rail. It's a band. It is,
Local guy.
it's local.
Chad, right?
Yep.
Gallagher.
It's free. There is no cost to residents to come and hang out on the common. Bring a snack, enjoy the nice weather. It is rain or shine, and so if there is rain, just be looking on the Winchester Music in the Park Facebook page, and there'll be updates about where it might be. There's only a couple of places in town where it could be, so if you're coming out to listen, look at the town hall, check down at the community center, see if there's some cars. We're probably in one of those locations. And that was all I had, and other than to just remind everybody there's a school board meeting tomorrow. Yes.
One inquiry, I was wondering if the police chief could come down here and give us an update on just how many calls the police department has done, what he's currently working on, just an overall view of what the police department is doing, what he's doing to hire police officers, etc. Second, the broadband committee received an email today that we may be eligible for a grant to cover our full bond. Woo! Which is super exciting. So we're going to see if we qualify for that, and as we work through that with Consolidated, I will keep the board updated as well as the residents. Last but not least, I'm going to cancel the town cleanup because it's going to be hot. So we will reschedule that, and when we do, we'll let you know. If there's not one scheduled before that, the next one is the Source to Sea cleanup, which is immediately after Pickle Festival.
Immediately after Pickle Festival. Thank you.
Any public comment?
Seeing none.
Todd, call Todd, he'll probably come down with something.
I think it would be a bike week. It's bike week.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's
right.
He wasn't here last week.
We have a non-public under RSA 91.
It's gonna be C.
Yep.
Make a motion
There
for
was
a
no A.
non-public.
Second.
Roll call vote. Teresa?
Aye.
Natalie?
Aye.
Herb?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Lindsay? Aye. We are now in non-public. I do not foresee us having any significant discussion following. Thank you.
No,
No.
Jesus Christ.
She's
It's only one.
undoing this, and I'm grabbing the non-public.
It's only one, yeah. I do, Carrie, I'll go lock it if you want.